You got to contribute some to like, there's different skill levels. Like if RTR is going to build a car, they're going to charge you $150K. It'll be a lot more. That comes into play a little bit of paying someone to do it. Could be, I don't know, $300,000 if the right person is putting the right stuff together. But you can do all that stuff a lot cheaper if you're in FD at a ProSpec or higher level with the right partner.
How much does it cost to run a ProSpec season? Like,
so that's
I know it's a generalization, but
no, I mean, so the question really has to start, like you have to ask the question in the right way. So what is your question? Is it, how much does it cost at a round? Is it, how much does it cost to build a car that's legal? How much does it cost to pay someone to build a car that's legal? How much does it cost?
I'd say the car one. People probably want to know about the car. They want to know what's it cost to build a pro car.
So was it cost
a competitive
if you were going to buy every part and pay someone to put it all together and all of the above? Like you literally are not going to do anything. You're just going to show up and drive and like pay someone. I think a minimum, if you're getting it done, again, what kind of shop is building it?
Sure.
And how much are you involved, right? I would say the bare minimum would be like $75K, but the realistic would be like 150.
I believe it.
And I would say, depending on how good of that, you could go more than that. But like, it's just like you got to think about like, okay, how much are the parts? Just core, you know, like add up all the parts. You're probably easily in 50K in parts. And then you have like fab, labor, you know, all that other stuff. So I think it just depends how you look at it, and then what you got to contribute some to like someone's, oh man, I ruined the podcast.
Fine.
Turn it off.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
You got to contribute some to like, there's different skill levels. Like if RTR is going to build a car, they're going to charge you $150K. It'll be a lot more, right?
Well, fuck yeah.
But they're RTR,
right?
And they're going to do the design of RTR. So like that comes into play a little bit of, you know, paying someone to do it. You could be, I don't know, $300,000 if the right person is putting the right stuff together. But you can do all that stuff a lot cheaper if you're in FD at a ProSpec or higher level with the right partners. So that's like the, you know,
that's the balance.
It's not
a loaded question.
Like,
we were just curious.
I didn't spend that much money, right? But if I were to need to just build a car outright,
that's what it would cost.
It would probably cost like in that realm. So, but that's just the car. Then add the season. That's another lot of money.
Yeah. Well, actually, once you get your license, though, do you still got to pay for the entire season, like directly to FD?
The cost that is expensive, like, I mean, we could go through the cost, like if you really want to know, like it's not like nothing's a secret.
Well, some people are just worried about, you know, other people knowing their business. That's the reason I ask it that way. If you want to tell people, that's fine.
I can tell people, like the reality is ProSpec costs, the cost per tire is $130, period.
You're talking
we get 2 laps.
Talking to the mic.
We get 2 laps a tire, right? Like 2 laps per 2 tires. So every 2 laps costs.
What tires do you run?
GT radial.
Okay.
Like everyone in ProSpec runs a GT radial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those tires are $130. Like per the rule book, you go on the rule book. It's in the rule book. Yeah. Like it's public knowledge.
Did that suck when they got changed?
I know that. It's for them. I was just asking questions on their behalf. Sorry.
I mean, I go into that. Like it's a different. Like I love GT radials. They're a good tire. Being kind of stuck into a price point, kind of limits our ability to like we're paying a lot more than we used to. But also everyone's paying a lot more for tires. So we don't
for everything.
We don't know, you know, like I can't say it's because
I feel like it levels the playing field almost in a sense.
I like that everyone has to be on the same tire and the same size. But
I didn't mean to branch off from that.
No, it's all good.
It restricts you in your ability to like get better deals. But at the same time, were there really that many deals for us to begin with?
Right. And
you know,
it keeps Ombre over there, you know, from doing the same thing.
My first season of FD, I went in not knowing what tire I would be able to get. And I only found out, like I finally got onto Achilles like a week or two, not even, maybe more, but like very short period right before the event.
You were like stressed.
I was like, I don't know what I'm going to show up in Kenda's. Like, I don't know. Like, I legit, like, I mean, I don't think I could have showed up in Kenda's back then. Like, I think I was going to show up in whatever tire was legal, because you couldn't buy the Achilles, what are they called? I'm blanking. The 123, yes.
Yeah, 123s.
You could not buy those. Like, you could if you knew a certain source, but it's not like you go on,
Simple Tire and order them.
Tire Stacks or whatever, and they exist. They don't exist.
Right.
Right now, like, no one can really buy the GT Radial tires unless you're in that program, because they're still like working out quantities. Like, they don't have enough quantities.
That's crazy.
But you can buy like a version of it, like another version of it. But
like a 200 tread wear type thing.
It's like the it's
300.
the same. I think it's the same thing, but no RS on it. So it's like the Chimpiro.
It's more of a street version.
Yeah, it's still, I think, a like solid tire, but I think ours is a little bit more stickier or something like that. I don't have experience on both.
I'm probably
I can't tell you
if I try to do that.
Yeah, but so I went in that first season not knowing, and I was like, I can't afford to pay $250 a tire, because that's how much 123s were like, selling for the Falcons. You could get the 615s, whatever, which they're really expensive. And I was just like, I'm just gonna show up with what I have. I had no idea what I was getting into. Like, when I started FD, I went in blinder than
just fucking going for it, huh?
I mean, literally.
I feel like you kind of have to, though.
That's awesome. I'll tell you the conversation I had with my buddy Forrest, my tuner. I called him up, was like, I got my license. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I should move on, because I was kind of debating, should I go or should I not? I kind of got pushed into going into it.
Who pushed you?
There was some drama.
We love drama.
Yeah. I left Pro-Am because it made more sense for me to go to FD at the time.
Okay.
It's another long subject.
You ran East 10 though, right?
No.
What program did you run?
MDU.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, we went into FD. I called Forrest up. I'm like, I got my license. I don't really feel comfortable running, Pro-Am at that series anymore. What do you think? And he's like, do it, man. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, I'll go with you. I was like, so how many people are you? He's probably need more, but we'll figure it out. We'll just be me and
What's
you.
What's this guy's full name?
Forrest Lester.
Okay. Yeah. Plug that guy. He sounds like the GOAT.
Yeah, he's been like in the drift world for a long time. He's a really good tuner. He's actually like the rep for Link ECU for technical stuff. So
there you go.
If you guys need any Link ECU like assistance, he's the man, right?
Okay.
So I called him up and I was like, let's do it. He's like, do it. And I started registering, and then randomly, like, Jake at one of these events was like, hey, who you got crewing for you? I'm like, it's me and Forrest. He's like, can I come? I'm like, okay. Jake Elliott?
Yeah, I fucking love that guy, man.
So basically it was then Jake Elliott. And then Jake Elliott was like, hey, Brad wants to come. I'm like, sure.
Wallace?
Yeah.
Damn.
So it was me, Jake, Forrest, and Brad. None of us.
Just
the only
fucking
person
winging
that
it.
knew anything about
Forrest.
anything was Forrest. And he was our spotter. And like, we just figured it out. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I just learned, and then we just made friends. Like, literally, I broke my axles 1 week before the event in the parking lot testing the car. Both sides broke at the hubs. And I'm like, God, shit.
Fuck.
So we had them like sent to Florida, because the first round was in Orlando. And we had, I think I sent it to Steven Purcell. I can't remember. Someone down in Florida. I shipped it to their house. And then I had Naren pick it up, because he was already down there for some Daytona Beach thing. And then we met him in the middle of the night in a parking lot and picked up the axles, drove him to Orlando. I swear to God, like, this is the only way we were making round one. So then we ended up, we got these axles, we're putting it in the parking lot in the middle of the night, and we have like, this is, before my Harbor Freight sponsorship. So like, I had like a little like Craftsman, like,
you got the wrenches,
toolbox, and like, that's it. Like a jack, and like, we were just like, all right. And then we're getting there, and we're like, okay, we got to change the axles. So first we passed tech. We get through tech, and it was running the stock axles, but they weren't going to last. So we're like, we got to put the original ones in. So we're doing this, and it just takes us way longer than it should. We ended up like while we're doing it in the air, I think it's when I met Rome and Rob Carlson. So Rob Carlson and Rome Charpentier I'm sure I said that wrong. He was crewing for Rob at the time, and he was looking at my car and he's like, you know why you broke your axles? I'm like, I don't know. Like too much power, I guess. Achilles, like, because it was the first time I ran Achilles. It was like the first time I put like grippy tires on it. He's like, no, man, your axle angles are bad. And I'm like, what? What's axle angles? What are you talking about? He's like, so we ended up having to raise the car and do all this stuff to like get it to where it's flatter. Crazy. We couldn't get it like flat, but we got it like flat enough. He's like, that's why you broke your axles because we broke them at the hub side. So he's like, that's from that, like for sure. Like you're going to break them again. Because we broke 2 at once. I was like, I've never really snapped an axle before. And these were like, I had got drive shaft axles right before, like those were me testing the axles and the tires.
That's what he meant earlier. You were like, I have to put the original axles back in because you had drive shaft shop axles.
Yeah,
and those are the ones that popped.
Yes.
Okay.
So then I called them and I was like, "Can you ship?" And they're like, "We can send it to you," but I'm like, "But I'm leaving now. What are you like? I don't know what to do." Like, but we'll get there by Tuesday. I'm like, "I'm leaving Tuesday." So they're like, well, we can ship it to Florida. Do you have someone there? And I found out. Now I know you can ship to the track. I didn't know that.
Yeah, sure.
But this is like learning. I had no idea you could ship stuff to the track. Like that's in our packets. Like, oh, if you need to ship something to the track, you just do this. Like I'm like, hey, who lives in Florida that I can ship to? So I found someone. I did all that. So anyway, we did that, and then
steps you didn't need to.
Went through a full event. That was it. Like that's the story.
How'd it go? Was it horrible or was it okay?
I think we qualified 17th and it was a top 16. So we were like,
that's fucking good though for your first ride.
It was like 1 point. I don't remember exactly, but it was something like we barely didn't qualify, and we were like, all right, cool. Well, let's just hang out, And then I think we hung out like the next day, and then I think we left. I don't remember.